Hello everyone, welcome to Nilanjana's exclusive English lessons. Well, today we are going to continue with Act 1 and Scene 6. This is Scene 6 of Macbeth, and let's begin. By the way, I wanted to share something really interesting about Macbeth. Did you know that actually in Shakespeare's Macbeth, we see that Macbeth had killed King Duncan and he was driven by ambition, right? And also aided by his wife. And both of them murdered the sleeping King Duncan, who was his guest and kinsman, right? And they did that in cold blood to seize the throne. But in the historical reality, the real Macbeth also killed King Duncan, but it was not done in a secretive act. King Duncan was killed in battle near Elgin. It's a place in northern Scotland, and he died fighting against Macbeth's forces. But then why did Shakespeare change the story? Well, that's also another interesting fact which I will share sometime later. But yes, if you're really intrigued about knowing such historical facts behind literature, do let me know in the comments. I also feel a lot of interest to share such beautiful stories and interesting stories with all of you. Anyways, let's begin the lesson. So where does the scene begin? The scene opens in Inverness, in front of Macbeth's castle, and here Duncan enters along with Malcolm, Donalbain, Banquo, Lennox, Macduff, Ross, Angus and his attendants. Now Duncan was very pleased. He was extremely pleased seeing Macbeth's castle because he was actually unable to see any kind of foulness in it. So what does he say? This castle hath a pleasant seat. So it's a very pleasant place. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses. So the air is very delicate and it is soothing our senses. The air is extremely delicate. Now listening to this, what did Banquo say? So he said, guest of summer, the temple haunting martlet, does approve by his loved mansionry that the heaven's breath smells wooingly here. No jutty, frieze, buttress, nor coign of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle, where they most breed and haunt. I have observed the air is delicate. So, what does Banquo say? What does Banquo say? Banquo says that the martlet. Now, who's a martlet? The martlet is actually a summer bird. So, the martlet even approves of the pleasant atmosphere of Macbeth's castle, because they have occupied all of its corners, including jutty, frieze and the buttresses. Okay, now what's a jutty? Jutty is like a projection. Frieze is the top of a column. You will see that in buildings and structures. And buttress is also when you build a structure against a wall for extra support. So Banquo is trying to say that all the corners, including all these places, the martlets, they have built their hanging nest. Pendant bed is a hanging nest. So everywhere this bird has occupied. And procreant cradle, and cradle for begetting offspring, means the small ones, rear its younger ones, where they most breed and haunt. Haunt is live. So the birds, they've started breeding, they have made their nests, they're rearing their young ones. So every corner of this house, the mansion, the castle has been occupied. And when it has been occupied by a martlet, which is a summer bird, it always speaks of something very pleasant. And therefore the air is very delicate. So the air is very soft and gentle. Now at this point, Lady Macbeth enters. Now who is Lady Macbeth? She is the host, right? She, in her house they have all come. Now she acts as a very gracious host. She doesn't even let them understand what is going on in her mind. That's her cunningness. So looking at her, Duncan says, see, our honored hostess. Again, this is very ironical. The love that follows us sometime is our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God us for your pains and thank us for your trouble. So when Lady Macbeth enters, Duncan remarks that at times their love for him gives them trouble. Because why? Because they go to great lengths for a royal preparation, which in turn makes Duncan embarrassed. Okay, so this is what he tells, that by love's attention sometimes annoy us, but still we are grateful to it because it is love. So Duncan also acts very gracious over here, and he tells that you may praise God and pray to him to reward Duncan for having put her to this trouble. And you will thank Duncan and others for this trouble. Thank us for your trouble. Lady Macbeth, all our service in every point, twice done, then done double, were poor and single business to contend against those honours deep and broad wherewith your majesty loads our house. So Lady Macbeth also, she becomes very gracious. Okay, just like how Duncan said that he prays to God to pardon him for creating such trouble, and also to show signs of gratitude for their pains and thank them for their trouble, Lady Macbeth is also being a very gracious hostess. She says that all their service, even it is doubled and again doubled for him, would never compensate for the honors that he has heaped upon them, and they are still bestowing on them. Okay, and they shall always remain his followers. So were all our service that we are doing, they were all poor and very insignificant to contend is to compensate against the honors that you have been heaping us with. Your majesty loads our house. So you as a king, the way you have shown your kindness to come and stay in our house, and you know how you have bestowed us with all those honors, so whatever we are doing in return is nothing. This is what she's trying to say. For those of old and the late dignities heaped up to them, we rest your hermits. So they shall always remain his followers because of the old honors, like the old honors which was heaped on Macbeth, and the recent one, the late dignities heaped up to them. So the late dignities refers to the recent honors which were added. So we will remain obliged to you for your life. Duncan, where is the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor, but he rides well, and his great love sharp at his spur hath helped him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight. So Duncan tells, where is Macbeth? Where is the Thane of Cawdor? And we coursed him at the heels. We followed him very closely. And we actually wanted to be his purveyor, means we wanted to come ahead of him, come before him, forerunner. But then he rides well. He's a very good rider. He rides well, and further, his great love sharp as his spur. Now they carry a whip. Usually when they ride on a horse, they carry a whip so that, you know, the horse can take them faster than before. Duncan tells that Macbeth's love for Duncan is as sharp as that whip, and that definitely must have helped him to reach home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guest tonight. Lady Macbeth, your servants ever have theirs themselves, and what is theirs income to make their audit at your highness's pleasure, still to return your own. So as Duncan was surprised at Macbeth's absence, and then he said no, that he had outpaced them to impart the news of Duncan's arrival. If you remember, he said that I will go first, I'll go before you so that I can send the news to my wife that you have been arriving. And also he rides first, and also his love for him spurred to come before them. So he says that they are his guests that night. Now Lady Macbeth, what does she say? That she's very overwhelmed at this, and she says that they are his servants and he is present in his own house, for whatever is present over there are all his own property, and as if he has come to audit and take an account of them. Again, as I said, she's trying to be very gracious, very kind, and she tells that we are actually your servants. Okay, and we are placing ourselves, our servants, everything that we have before you. Submit full accounts for your inspection. So whatever you want to be sure about our house, Everything is under you. You can take full account of everything. And in doing so, we are actually returning what is actually yours. That means whatever we have, it's all yours. There's nothing that actually belongs to us. Give me your hand, conduct me to mine host. We love him highly and shall continue our graces towards him by your leave, hostess. So, what does he say? Duncan tells at the end that. So, Duncan asks her to take his hand and conduct him inside to Macbeth. He shall be always loved by Macbeth, and more honors shall be bestowed upon him. The scene actually ends here. So finally, as we see that Duncan is absolutely unaware what is going to happen. He doesn't understand, or obviously as a common man, he is too kind, he's too gracious, and he's too grateful, because the way Macbeth has helped, contributed in his battle for his kingdom. And as a very kind gesture, he has decided to come and stay in Macbeth's castle. But he's not aware about the foulness of this place. And therefore, at the very beginning, he tells that the place is so, the air is so delicate. So finally, at the end of the scene, it is a very short scene, that give me your hand and conduct me to Macbeth, and he is going to be our host. And we love him a lot, and we will continue to give our favors to him, of course with your permission. And then all of them, they enter the castle. The scene ends here. I will come back with the next scene, scene 7, very soon. And I hope you have enjoyed the video. Of course, if you think that it has helped you, do share your comments, ask your doubts, and give a thumbs up. And please subscribe to the channel. There are still many people, those who have not subscribed. Please do so. It motivates me a lot. That's my reward. And thank you, and have a beautiful day ahead.